Now that we have talked about what Xamarin is and how it can help you build Android and iOS applications that share C# code, let's talk about the advantages of using it and why you should be using it. Mainly, Xamarin will allow you to be way more efficient when developing mobile applications. And during this lecture, we're going to take a look at two scenarios that will help you understand just a little bit better how it is that Xamarin will allow you to be more efficient when developing mobile apps. So let's take a look at the first scenario. The first scenario is traditional app development, what we would think as one team developing the Android app and another developing the iOS app. First, well, it means that you have to have one team per platform. You have to have one team for developing the Android app and one team for developing the iOS app. This also means that each team is an expert on their platforms. So maybe the iOS developers won't be able to help the Android developers, neither the other way around in case it's needed. And this also applies when it comes to individuals. I have come across a lot of people who are individuals who want to build an Android and an iOS app, but it's just too difficult or too time consuming for them to learn two languages, two platforms. With Xamarin, you won't be starting from scratch. So if you have some previous mobile app development experience, chances are you're not going to be starting from scratch. For example, if you have developed Android apps, you will find that using Xamarin Android is going to be almost identical. The only difference really is that you're not going to be using Java but C#, but the project structure and the overall way the project works is going to be very similar. And the same applies to iOS. If you have previous experience developing iOS projects, you will see that the project structure and the way you define the user interface and the way you code events, for example, is going to be fairly similar. And if you have experience developing Windows apps, whether it's for mobile or for desktop, XAML and C# are going to make you feel right at home when developing Xamarin Forms applications. And finally, something that we have already covered in the previous lecture, you end up with native applications. That's right. you end up with an application that uses native user interfaces, that uses native APIs, and because of this has native performance. So your users will actually enjoy the application better if it were, for example, an HTML5 application. So now that we've talked about some of the benefits of using Xamarin, in the next lecture we're going to compare the two different versions of the Xamarin platform, Xamarin Native versus Xamarin Forms.